This episode of Inside Golf Podcast is brought to you by Inside Sports Network.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Boston Capital Twitter, Steve, on the Hold the Green podcast.
All right, we are live. Tap in, birdie.
All right, Carson Young is here.
I bet Ludwig at 28.
Let's go.
I bet him at,
I bet him at 25.
Low sevens. I think there's some guys in here we like.
Harris English at 7,300.
I love Brian Harmon at 3.5% this week.
RB, welcome in. How are we doing, my friend? How's your weekend?
It was good. DFS wise should have been better.
Yeah, tell me about it.
I locked Scotty, which again is like the equivalent of putting your name on.
I had
on the
zero,
SAT.
Scotty.
Yeah, so I got that one right. But yeah, I mean, my betting card, Ludwig, Cam, and Hideki were all sort of in the top 5 for a while, and then
Every single one of
weekend-
those guys felt like they had a chance at one moment during the tournament.
And then Hideki he was like +9 on the weekend, so I don't know what he was doing. But yeah, not a bad week overall. Scotty's just a wagon. I don't know why he's so cheap again this week, which we'll get into. Like, just gonna play him again, just gonna win again. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, put it this way. Just because if you play Scotty, you're not guaranteed to make money. But I can tell you by fading Scotty, your path to losing money it's a lot faster. And I knew pretty early on that the theory that I had, which is that the guys slightly below Scotty Scheffler in pricing, and I'm talking about Ludwig, Xander, Morikawa, Burns, Hovland, basically the whole 9K range, you needed them basically. Rory, I guess you could even throw into that category as well, as like all of the guys right behind Scotty. You need those guys to be so good that you're just, as long as there's a guy in the low 7s and 6K range, you're going to lose to a Scotty lineup. And my theory that the 6K range was a disaster was correct. Like the bottom 10 on the leaderboard pretty much were the entire 6K range. But as long as there is, and I don't know, I didn't look at the final leaderboard. Was it Mike Kim that ended up finishing top 10? I want to pull up the 100.
And it was Harry Hall. Like, I don't know exactly what his price was.
Harry Hall was 7.8. So,
I guess so. Mike Kim was stone mint almost. So
Mike Kim was stone min, but you still, like, I'll pull up the Scotty lineup that I lost to in the $100 single entry, but you needed, you really did need to find some guys around 7.4 and below that would have delivered for you. And like a lot of those guys, they were just okay, but probably good enough to win if you had Scotty. Like I'm talking about Pendrith, Siwoo Kim, Denny. Those were all guys that I played, but unfortunately I paired them with like Xander Burns or Xander Hovland as opposed to Scotty.
Yeah, and like just looking at the numbers, so Rory, right, was number 3 off the tee in Stroh's game last week. 2 full shots behind Scotty, who was number 1. Scotty was 5th in approach, and Scotty was first around the green, obviously skewed a little bit by the late chip in. But like, if he's first off the tee, first around the green, and 5th in approach, and he's gaining strokes putting every week, I don't know what you do with that. You don't beat that. So.
Yeah. You're right about Hall, by the way, as well. If you look at the lineup that won the $100 single entry, so this lineup won $10,000 on a $100 entry. It was Scotty, Bob Mack at 8.1. So, you're fading the whole 9K range and 10K range if you play Scotty. I kind of did the opposite of that.
9K range, yeah.
Yep. Sorry, excuse me. I misspoke there. The whole 9K and 10K range. So obviously, and basically 8K because Bobby's 8.1. And then you're right. You have Harry Hall, Mav McNeely, Brian Harmon, and Bud Cauley T33. And Bud Cauley at 6,300 finishing T33. Well, I mean, you could make arguments who is the key to that lineup. There, you could make an argument for Mav, Harry Hall, whatever. But that lineup is able to work because Bud Cauley gets that T33 from you. And, you know, I played Bud Cauley, but I also played, you know, T48, Ryan Gerard, and Ryan Fox.
And Johnny Vegas, who was like 20 over par.
Johnny Vegas, yeah.
Down there, so.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, I think it, and like course fit wise, I mean, there was a lot of talk about caves once the week got started, but I don't like the way that we broke it down. Like, I wasn't super surprised about how the golf course played it. It played to the scoring average that I predicted. I will say on Thursday morning when it was playing like 3 strokes over par, I was like, holy shit. Like, did they literally just try and make this like a US Open? Like, I will feel like I'll look kind of stupid if it plays like 3 strokes over par, because I certainly wasn't expecting that. And then as the tournament went going, it ended up playing what I had expected for the week, which was around even par. But what did you think about Caves really dialing it up to the point where like you finally got a more respectable tournament than the 28 under par that we saw in 2021? I enjoyed it more for sure, but like it was a lot of tricking up that they had to do that golf course just to get an even par scoring average.
Clearly they heard the rumblings from, 28 under par in 2021. And I think they, like on Thursday, I think they knew rain was coming, right? And just like, all right, let's get some bogeys now because golf course is going to be wet and these guys are going to push 20 under anyway. So I thought the course played fine. Not the most memorable course. Like, I don't know. I thought it was a decent course, an interesting course from time to time, but like not that memorable. Yeah, it's kind of my take.
I thought there were some fun holes. Like I really enjoyed the drivable par 4 on the front 9 that Bobby drove into the hazard, I think on Saturday.
Yeah.
That was a fun drivable 4. The one on the back 9 with the water, I didn't enjoy as much. That was just like a very straightforward shot over water where there wasn't even really much difference between like the 300-yard par 4 and the 240-yard par 3, which was almost like the same shot. But I think overall, the golf course defended itself well. I mean, it was definitely a proper ball striking test. I haven't looked at like the strokes gain correlation breakdown, but I would imagine by the end of the week, it probably did a good job testing both distance and accuracy with a real legitimate missed fairway penalty, which is what we will get this week at Eastlake. I don't know if you've gotten a chance to look at the GSCAA sheet. I'm glad they actually put it out on time this week because the other week it was not on time. But this is kind of the thickest rough, at least on paper, that they're ever going to have at Eastlake. So if I'm going to give one props to the PGA Tour, I will say that this year they are making at least a very conscientious and non-subtle attempt to make their playoff golf courses play harder. I think Eastlake will play quite a bit harder this year than it has at least last year.
I think so too. Yeah. And I think, like you said,
they changed the par again too, by the way, RB.
Yeah. And like, we've seen the rough up, like you said, like even back at Wyndham when Cam Young won, like that rough was as bad at Sedgefield as I've ever seen. I feel like Eastlake, I mean, while it's a much harder golf course, I think there's going to be some similarities there. Like I always skew a little bit more towards iron play and accuracy here, just because I do think the rough is penal. I do think that sort of mid to long iron range comes in a little bit. And it's because they want to emphasize the best players. Like they want Rory and Scotty 1-2 on Sunday. Like that is the end goal here. So
yeah, and I think I have no reason to believe that they won't get that. I mean, what I will say about Eastlake is because Andrew Green did the restoration for my home course as well. And my home course in New York, Oak Hill, is another Donald Ross classical golf course that received an Andrew Green restoration. And if you look at the bunkering and a lot of the green complexes at Oak Hill, it's very similar to, it looks like what they did at Eastlake. And I will just say, like, as much as I love Oak Hill and as talented as Andrew Green as an architect, it really becomes an Andrew Green golf course. Like it doesn't feel like a Donald Ross golf course anymore. It becomes like a championship style golf course with these very deep bunkers that I don't know if television does like a good job of really displaying the bunkers that Andrew Green tends to create. And you'll see them, like if you look at overhead images of Eastlake and Oak Hill, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about with the way that he creates bunkers. Very hard. Like I will just say, like, I think Eastlake, it played very soft last year. It looks like it's going to be at least a little bit firmer and faster this year. It played 2.2 strokes under par last year as a par 71. I think you're at least looking at 1 stroke under par, maybe, and probably again like a 14 to 17 under winner.
Yeah, I think that.
Like
Yeah, I think that
under 15 under is like pretty hard now on the PGA Tour.
I think so, and I think the Oak Hill comp, it certainly makes sense. You know, just sort of thinking back there. Obviously Brooks won, but you know,
Hovland,
Scotty, Hovland, Rory, Cantlay, like all those guys are up there. So, I think that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I mean, I would say 12 to 14 under. Yeah, it's probably where I'm looking this week.
It's like, and I said this last week, like if they're making a very non-subtle attempt and literally putting out in front of your face, like, hey, we're trying to make this golf course harder, like take them at face value. Now, they've done things before where they've attempted to make a golf course harder and have fallen completely flat on their faces. Like the renovation that they did to TPC River Highlands, they spent millions of dollars on this. It didn't work at all.
It didn't do anything. Yeah.
It didn't do anything. It actually went in the other direction and the scoring average went down. So I'm not saying that the PGA Tour is going to hit a home run anytime they make changes to a golf course. But I will say Andrew Green is like phenomenally talented at this. And he did a great job at Oak Hill, and he has done a great job at Eastlake as well. So for me, I think it's going to be a very challenging ball striking test. Like I'm taking accuracy here over distance off the tee, as we saw 2 weeks ago with the Bermuda rough. Bermuda rough is just a lot harder than other roughs. You're more likely to get buried lies where your ball is somewhat sitting in a crow's nest. You know it because you play Bermuda rough in the South. But Bermuda rough this time of year, it's hot, it's sticky. You want to hit fairways.
I'm with you. Yeah. And again, like, I don't know what the weather has been there. I assume they're going to want it as firm as possible, but it's just not going to be. Like, you're going to get rain. You're going to get some days that are soft. So yeah, like you can't stop these guys from shooting 4 or 5 under. You just got to hope they don't do it 4 days in a row.
All right. So let's dive. I think we're on the same page about the golf course.
Yep.
This week for DraftKings, I wasn't planning on playing a lot of DraftKings this week, but we can still talk through the slate and talk about the guys that we like in terms of course fits. But this week for DraftKings, when you get a 30-person field, are you looking at this as like a game theory week, or how are you approaching this week?
Yeah, I won't play much this week. Probably only single entry, maybe some 3 max if there's some decent stuff out there. But yeah, probably a single entry week. Like, you have to imagine Scotty is going to be again in that 65 to 75% range. So if like you're building one
75%,
I mean, he's not expensive again. He's I don't know. I wish they would have made
they
him
are kind of almost
expensive.
asking you to play him.
Yeah. And again, like it's a no cut, it's a small field, everyone's getting points, everyone's making birdies. There's plenty of names in the sixes, like you get a 6,400 Shane Lowry. Like there's people that you're comfortable playing. So like I'm going to play Scotty, but if you want to just go pure game theory and try and cut out 80% of the field, you can do it. But again, what's his floor? His floor is third, fourth, and he scores a lot, and he's probably going to win. He's plus 150 to win on some books.
Yeah.
Like, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
So I'm going to play him, but just not a big week for me now.
We should also mention, in case anyone has been living under a rock, there's no starting strokes this year.
Yeah.
So it's just a regular PGA Tour event. Everyone's starting at 0. I think they could have made Scotty $15,000.
Sure. Yeah. Just
I do.
Yeah. Like make you play 3 6K guys with him, because you don't have to do that. Like you can play all 7K, maybe get 1 6K guy. But I would have made him at least 14.5, I think, this week.
Game theory wise, I mean, if he's 75%, I think you can make an argument that there's a pathway for you to win without him, but it just almost feels like you're going to be playing against the Scotty people that are also playing Scotty. Do you feel like it's more likely that you can beat those people in a 5v5, or do you feel like comfortable taking on Scotty and hopefully hoping that it's in the range of outcomes that like he doesn't win? Because if he wins at 75% and you don't have him,
it's over.
You're just cooked. Like last week, I got a lot of things right.
Yep.
I had a lot of good plays in the 9K range, but I didn't play a 40% Scotty, and Scotty won. And you're just going to lose to those lineups. You're going to lose to those lineups that have Scotty and your Mike Kim and Bobby Mack. And Scotty is cheap enough that you can build a lineup with a good player in the 7 or 8K range with him.
Yeah, like my thought here is like obviously he's going to be super high owned, but almost every non-Scotty lineup is going to have Rory, right? And so then it becomes, all right, well, if you're really going game theory, probably you would fade both of them in that case. And then you have to build a perfect 6-player lineup and hope that Scotty's not top 3. Right. The odds of that happening, that Scotty and Rory aren't in the top 3 and you hit the other 6 guys basically all in the top 8 or 9, it's not going to happen. So I'm going to play Scotty and try and get different, try and figure out the rest. Yeah.
Right. This question from Ben, what would have been the outright number that would have got you to bet Scotty this week straight up?
I would have probably needed the 250 that we saw last week.
Yeah.
Right. But like, I think right at 2-1 is close. Like that's probably where he should be, but he definitely opened under that.
Yeah. I mean, this concept of like trying to figure out who's going to finish second to Scotty every week. It's new to me. Like it's like, it's not that fun. Like I gotta say, like I opened up the odds board this morning and I got a little sad because it's like, oh yeah, that's right. Like I have to wait till the without market comes out because none of these guys are going to beat Scotty straight up. Anyway, we could talk till we're blue in the face about Scotty. Give me, once you get past Scotty, give me your favorite and least favorite. Let's combine the 8s and 9s together today, because there's really not that many golfers. So even basically from like Rory down to JJ Spawn.
Yeah. So I would say, like, I have nothing bad to say about Rory. This is arguably his best golf course besides Quail Hollow. But he is a generational gap below Scotty right now, so probably not going to get there. I think the Hovland, Henley, Fleetwood trio probably my top three. I did bet Henley and Hovland this week in exactas with Scotty, right? Because
fun.
If Scotty's going to win, I mean, like you said, try and pick the guy who's second.
Did you bet them also in the without market?
I bet Hovland straight at 30. I didn't bet anything in the without because the numbers were I think Henley was 14-1 in that. So
I bet Hovland 20-1 without Scotty.
Okay. Yeah. So for example, if Hovland plays well and loses to Scotty, the Scotty Hovland exacta was 45-1. Those are the sorts of numbers that I can get behind because Scotty is probably going to win. So but I like those three. And then right at the cutoff there, I think JJ Spawn just continues to play really, really well. The ball striking, the iron play. He played well in Memphis on the Bermuda and not his best surface, but still played great. So Spawn is still pretty high on my list this week.
I think for this range, I really like Hovland this week. Obviously, the Oak Hill comp, I think, does a lot for me there in terms of just the Andrew Green restoration and his ability to chip pretty well at that golf course and how ball striking is heavily accentuated at that golf course. It seems like the thick rough around the greens theory with Hovland tends to typically show up. I mean, you look at Hovland's had a very inconsistent season, but one of the best performances from Hovland all year was Oakmont, which is another one of these northeastern bent grass parklands golf courses with extremely thick rough around the greens. And now I know this is Bermuda rough, and I would probably feel a little bit better about it if it was bluegrass rough, but I'm pretty sure Valspar was Bermuda. Valspar, in fairness, was overseeded, which made it a little bit easier for Hovland there. But this around the green leaderboard is going to be totally random. Chipping out of thick Bermuda rough, good luck predicting that. Yeah. And I just think Hovland can muck things up enough with his ball striking and fairways and greens here. It's a really tough fairways and greens golf course. The driving corridors are quite narrow. And he did look a little bit better off the tee last week, at least. I mean, he drove the ball well enough to perform well at Caves Valley. And I think the iron play is rock solid right now.
Yeah, I mean, he gained, probably 8 strokes ball striking last week, if not more. The iron play, like you said, has really been good for a while. And some major spike weeks. Yeah. He
was third in approach play last week and 12th off the tee. And by the way, 13th in driving accuracy. He hit almost 70% of his fairways. And so not only was he positive off the tee, but he was doing it with his accuracy as well, which is something I care about more at East Lake than pure distance.
Sure. And of course, the golf course he's played well at, he can spray it off the tee. And so I think I like that there's no water here, right? You're not going to hit the ball out of bounds. You're not going to hit it into the water. And he can play out of the rough as well as any of these guys. So I'm with you. Very high on Hovland this week.
Caitlin brings up Sepp in the chat, and I agree on paper. This is completely Sepp's music, but I don't know what's going on with him personally.
Same. Yeah. I haven't heard anything other than he's playing. So,
and it's a lot of money, obviously, at East Lake. So, I mean, he's going to play if he's anything close to, if it's a 50-50 call, he's probably going to play in that position when it's this much money that you're playing for. So I would have some trepidation around playing him personally, just because I don't know what's going on. You guys at the ISN subs will be the first to know if I find out any more information on that. But it seemed like it was personal and not injury related. It seemed like it was a family matter. Maybe it was a death in the family, or a family, God forbid, a family member got sick, but I'm staying away until I know more, probably.
Yeah. like, yeah, I don't want to project anything also, but also like for DFS purposes, he is priced in a spot where I think he'll be super low owned. He's right between Young, Griffin, Matsuyama, McIntyre, Maverick McNeely. Like, so yeah, he's probably going to be mid to low single digits this week.
What did you think of the Ludwig? And I'm going to ask you about three guys essentially, because I kind of have mixed feelings on all of them. Henley, I feel pretty okay with. I feel pretty confident in Henley on this golf course. I bet him here last year, and he was awesome. Like, he made a real run at things on Sunday. And I just think Eastlake is a great fit for Henley. I love him on Southeastern Bermuda. I feel like I trust Tommy and Henley based on their course fits here are just very reliable course fits that I think are going to finish top 10. What did you make of Ludwig's performance last week? I have no idea what to make of that guy. I mean, he finished seventh. I guess that's not a disappointment per se, but it felt like anytime he needed to get something going, it was just 2 steps forward, 1 step back.
Yeah, I mean, he seemed to sort of close every round pretty well, but honestly, I think he just ran out of steam on Sunday. Like, he shot 3 over on Sunday. The iron play was no good. He had some really poor chips. He putted well all week. But yeah, I just think he was chasing all week, and at some point early Sunday realized he wasn't going to win, wasn't going to catch McIntyre, and certainly wasn't going to catch Scotty, and he just sort of took his foot off the gas there.
And then I've just faded JT for like 2 months.
Yeah, same. I mean, probably longer for me. I don't think I've played him since probably like the Masters. So iron play, it's just not good. He's never accurate off the tee. He has played this course fine, so that's, kind of interesting, but not putting well, not driving it well, not hitting irons well. I just don't know what you do with that.
Yeah. We didn't talk too much about the 8s, but you can combine 8s and 8s and 7s together. So even all the way down to Harry Hall. Talk about another guy who I thought was pretty disappointing last week on a week where he needed to show up, in my opinion. I mean, I don't know if he's already got the phone call that he's on the Ryder Cup team, but I wouldn't say that Patrick Cantlay did the best job of quieting the haters last week.
I think he's gotten the call. I think he's on the team. Yeah. So people always play him here. I think Morikawa is going to get more ownership just because of the price. Like, that's about as low as we've seen Colin Morikawa, 8,300. And if playing Scotty, it's just like a natural, like, all right, I'm going to go to the average salary and take Colin. So I don't have a lot of interest in that range at all. Burns, Cantlay, Morikawa. Spawn is the one guy I would play. In the 7Ks, I would, I'm going to ride Hideki one more week. Awful weekend, but he showed a lot the first 2 rounds. I think he was the only guy who was bogey free through 36. He wasn't making a ton of birdies, but he was bogey free. McNeely's going to be the chalk here, I believe. He does obviously have a lot to play for. Probably not on the team, but I mean, if he's in the top 5 again this week, I think Keegan takes a hard look. Not a great Cameron Young golf course, but again, playing so well, I feel like.
Wait, did you said that about Burns, correct? Oh, I lost RB for a second there. I can talk through the 8K range. Hopefully he comes back and joins us. But okay, you have Cantlay at the top of the range, 8.7, Burns 8.5. Oh, there he is.
Yep, sorry.
No worries at all. Okay, so 8K range, you were talking McNeely.
Yeah, so he's down in the low 7s, but I'm saying for a Ryder Cup sort of.
I don't think he's done enough.
I don't know. I mean, with how he played, so he's been sort of on that top 10, top 12 points border all year.
100%. Yeah.
He was third. He was third last week. And if he's top 5 again this week, I mean, you're talking, it's basically Keegan, Burns, and McNeely, I think, for the last spot. So Keegan can take it, if he wants to play. But if McNeely goes like 3rd at the BMW, 3rd at the Tour Championship, and he finishes like 9th in points or 8th in points, I don't know. I feel like he's going to be on the team.
No, it's tricky. I shouldn't say that McNeely hasn't done enough because I think in other years he would be deserving of a spot. Like if you look at data golf, he's around. I think he's 10th, 11th, or 12th in data golf. Like he is in between that 9 and 12 zone.
Yeah, so he's 10th in Ryder Cup points. Yeah, and he's in the top
He's
20
10th in Ryder Cup points, and he's 10th in data golf, I believe, as well. He just actually passed Cantlay, Morikawa, Burns in the data golf rankings as well. Ben Griffin's 7th in the world right now. Can you believe
obviously
that?
On the team, it's crazy. But look, he took his one weakness, which was really speed and distance, and he fixed it. He's absolutely ripping it off the tee. He's got a great short game. His iron play is just super consistent, and he's just constantly around the top 10. And obviously picked off a couple wins this year. So, yeah, I don't love Bethpage for him at all. I don't know how much he's going to play at Bethpage, but he will absolutely be there. That's for sure.
We will no more Ryder Cup talk just because I know you have a hard out at 3:45 and I want to actually get through the entire slate. So talk to me about the sixes. By the way, just real quick for me, my favorite in the sevens, probably I would take a chance on Connors. He's murdered me at times this year, like absolutely murdered me. And I think he shot 80 in the final round. But on a game theory week, I'm going to go with his accuracy off the tee and long-term course fit and hope for the best because there's going to be guys in this range. Like, I don't know, maybe it's Harry Hall and McNeely because they're the hot hand. Those guys will be 35% potentially. And you can just get a guy like Corey Connors, perhaps at half the ownership of Harry Hall. Sure. And that's a decision I'm going to make 7 days a week and twice on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, it should be a good course for Corey Connors. Obviously lives in Florida too, so very comfortable on these surfaces.
Yeah. Okay. Sixes for me. Who is the guy that you need in your lineups in the 6K range? If you're playing Scotty, you probably need at least two of these guys.
Yeah. So for me, pretty easy. English, Rose, and Harmon are the three that I circled here. You could talk me into Lowry just on the price. If you are Rishi, you could talk me into Sanjay, but
I can't believe he's playing this week.
Probably done with that.
How is Sanjay in the field?
Well, obviously plays a lot of golf. He plays all the no cuts, all the signatures, and he was 3rd at the Century and 4th at the Farmers. Basically banked those and a top 5 at the Masters. So basically banked those points in the first couple months of the year. Missed almost every cut since then, but here he is.
That's insane to me.
Yeah.
I think he's probably the worst player in the field right now. Maybe Bridgman.
Yeah. One of those two for sure. But yeah, for me, English is for sure the best play down here. Harmon, I just like the Bermuda. I like the accuracy. And then Rose, I mean, obviously just won. He's won at this golf course. I don't know if he actually won or he won the FedEx Cup, but, it's a good golf course for Justin Rose.
I think for me down here, I'm just always going to play Shane Lowry. Yeah. I have played him the last 2 weeks, and he's been meh. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say that he's playing great golf or the best golf that he's played all year by any means. But he's super accurate off the tee, and I just think he's a better player than a lot of these guys. Like, numbers-wise, Nick Taylor isn't really doing anything for me. Like, I ran a model of the 30 players in the field, and Nick Taylor's 29th for me. But like all of these guys in the 6K range are between 18 and 30. Justin Rose actually is the highest ranked guy at 18th for me. It's not like my numbers are suggesting that any of these guys have significant value. I mean, anecdotally in my brain, I agree with you on Harris English. Harris English just feels like the best player of that group, but my numbers don't love him this week particularly. Goddard looks like he's cooled down. Just based on long-term course fit, I probably would trust Lowry to hit the most fairways and spike on approach, and maybe Nick Taylor.
Yeah, I think so. Or just Brian Harmon, because he's going to finish like 12th and hit every fairway, and he can putt really well. So
Yeah.
yeah, because he's been sneaky, much more consistent back half of the summer. 8th at Travelers, 10th at the Open, in the top 25 in both playoff events. Like, I just feel like that's a safe floor for someone who's going to play Scotty. So
yeah, fair enough. All right, RB. Well, thank you for doing a show with me on short notice. We will. If you're playing this week, it's a great week to join ISM because we will have you covered from top to bottom. I will still be running ownership this week, 3 runs of ownership, and then we'll probably do something on Wednesday night as well. So if you're one of the sickos that is playing this week, we will have you covered at ISN. We will have you covered every week of the season. If there's a pro golf tournament, we will have wall-to-wall coverage on that, including next week is a pretty big DP World Tour event, right, RB?
Yeah, we have so this week they got the British Masters, but yeah, we're still in full DP World mode.
Yeah.
And again, all of their Ryder Cup players are going to start coming over. Flagship event.
So
all those guys.
So I may have I'll talk to you off air about it, but our guy Bex may be filling in for me a little bit on the DP World Tour stuff for you guys to chat about. Anyway, that's it for me, and I'll see you next week.
All right. See you guys.
All right. Cheers.